Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 21st of July 2022, and I've got a few things to talk about today. But first of all, the latest London shopping trip, the Worldwide Rally for Freedom, is happening at 1 p.m. this Saturday, 23rd of July, and I told you about this the other day, but I didn't know the starting location. Well, I do now, and it's right outside Buckingham Palace. So that's where we're going to meet up and where it's going to start from. So it's very easy to walk up to there from Victoria Station. And if you're going, I will see you there. Anyway, a couple of bits of news that really struck me is, first of all, I noticed that Djokovic, the great tennis player who recently won Wimbledon, is not going to be allowed to play in the US Open next month because of his V status. It seems that the US are still very keen to, promote this bigotry against people who choose to have a bit of bodily autonomy, and that should stop very, very soon. Especially, and this is just breaking news I've come across today or this afternoon even, and apparently Biden has got the lurgy, despite being quadruple V'd. And if that just kind of doesn't make a mockery of the situation, especially with Djokovic and their very stringent sort of anti sort of V measures, or sort of anti people who don't have the V measures, should I say. If it doesn't make a mockery of the whole thing, I don't know what will, because it clearly demonstrates that the thing isn't that great. That is, of course, if you believe that Biden actually has had the sort of big V, which I know more than one viewer here will seriously doubt. And another thing, I talked about that BBC programme yesterday, and so I didn't watch it myself. I've still yet to read your comments from that video yesterday, so bear with me. But I'm hearing that, as I suspected, it wasn't all that great. And I came across a review here, funnily enough, by another mainstream media outlet, The Telegraph, a very major newspaper and online news organisation here in the UK, and it said, Unv, that was the name of the documentary, review, painfully patronising documentary treated V skeptics as idiots. So bearing in mind, this is coming from, as I say, The Telegraph, and they are reviewing the sort of programme. And I'll just read you a couple of excerpts from the article here. It must have seemed like a good idea at the time. Someone at the Beeb decided that one way to demonstrate the corporation's commitment to impartiality would be to make a programme featuring people who have declined to have the V. But the result was so patronising, they shouldn't have bothered. And I say that as someone happily triple V'd. This is the writer saying that, of course. And this writer is saying they were to discuss the issues, but what this really meant was that Fry, the BBC presenter on this programme, would try to change their minds by explaining to these people in a softly lovely tone of voice that they are wrong. So that's kind of giving you a very clear flavour of the programme, even if you haven't watched it yourself. And just read a couple more things here. Fry made sympathetic noises and said she understood their fears, yet towards the end she went to a London hospital where a consultant said that 95% of lurgy admissions to intensive care were unV'd. And then Fry went on to say, when I hear facts like that, it seems like such a slam dunk, said Fry. If the motive was to persuade people to get the V, people who presumably have heard these sorts of statistics before but rejected them, then that description wasn't going to help. Well, I think it doesn't really help, because you and me know that those kind of statistics clearly aren't true, and we would argue that you're way more likely to end up in intensive care if you have had the thing rather than if you haven't. And then I'll just read out the last thing that this review says. Nearly 4 million adults in the UK remain unV'd. I doubt this programme changed any minds. And I gather that all 7 of the people who were on the programme, none of their minds were changed either. Although I stand to be corrected on that if you know any better than I do. But I don't think any of them changed their minds on it. And is that really surprising? I mean, honestly, did the BBC really think they'd be able to change their minds, bearing in mind what we went through sort of last winter, and coming into this year as well? People sort of losing their jobs if they worked in care homes, very nearly losing their jobs if they worked for the November Hotel Sierra. And had the government got their way with that, that would have then rolled out into many other professions as well. Also with the luckily very temporary introduction of the V passports, so people like you and me were looking at losing a lot of freedoms, losing our freedom to go to the pub, the theatre, the cinema, and to travel abroad, and we still can't travel to, well, the United States for one. And does the BBC really think that a group of people who are willing to go through all those kinds of privations will really change our mind at this late stage just because of some silly BBC TV programme? I don't think so. I really do think the Beeb have really, they really think they've got a lot more sway over people's minds than they really have. But one thing I would say is it looks like people on that programme did fight our corner, and hopefully with so many people up and down the country watching it, normie wise, hopefully it would have opened quite a lot of eyes, as indeed this reviewer seems to have done. They said they were triple V'd, and they said how patronising the TV programme was. So that's clearly coming from someone who sort of thinks that the BBC have really shot themselves in the foot, and probably sort of made people more determined not to have it and woken up other people besides. So could well be in the end that this sort of stupid documentary works in our favour. Who knows? I suppose time will tell. So I've gone on long enough today. It's been quite a long one, and I will see you on Saturday if you're going to London. See you outside Buckingham Palace there, and as always, feel free to come up and speak to me if you see me, and I'll be back tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.